Gentleman from California is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I compliment the author of this bill. It is one where priorities are being made, maybe small in the bigger picture, but at least the priorities are being made. Right now, we're talking about that we have a need in this country to help enhance the compensation for some very critical public servants, not just to us personally, but for the country at large. The fact is this bill will create a $15 million savings by looking at surplus property that the taxpayers are not only own but have to maintain at this time. Sadly, Mr. Chairman, is that $15 million is a drop in the bucket of what we could be doing. As the Office of Management Budget estimated, the federal government has $18 billion worth of real property it does not need. And rather than selling this property or marketing, we usually give it away one way or the other to local government, states, or nonprofits, rather than getting the fair market value. And I know historically we have always taken this attitude of if the federal government can't use it, let's give it to somebody else. But I think we all agree with the budget crisis the way it is. We need to rethink those priorities and make sure that we recognize that the federal government is not in position of being giving the largest out to the general other governments or nonprofits. Now, I have to remind all of us that this bill does make that priority decision. Instead of issuing it to other governments or to nonprofits, it says we need the money within the federal family, and thus we will liquidate this asset, create the revenue so we can spend it at another location, which is a higher priority. I join in supporting this bill. I think that it sets an example that we should all be looking at, and that is, as we take this step, the question will be, if $15 million is a good idea, where do we go when we're looking at the $18 billion and they're out there? And I think those of us on oversight, especially those on the subcommittee that I have the privilege of being the ranking member on, procurement and oversight, not only have a right but a responsibility to take a look at where else do we have resources that are not being tapped for the American people. Where else should we be liquidating our real estate, putting it back into the private market and allowing it to do what the magic that the private sector has done for this country for so long? And how much longer will we hoard this real estate when we do not have a foreseen or foreseeable use for it? So, Mr. Speaker, I join in not only providing the resources to be able to pay our men and women who protect us every day, but I also join in a policy that says we will now look at the resources of the American people as being that of the American people as a general welfare issue, and that we will look at how best to be able to pay our bills with the resources we can generate by liquidating unneeded assets. And, Mr. Speaker, I think that this Mr. Chafee of Utah just 2 weeks ago brought up a bill that looked a lot like this. I know this body did not support his bill to go after and try to create that $18 billion fund for the American people. But I think this bill gives us something we can work with following the leadership of the gentleman from Utah, and that is, let's take a look, like any family is doing today, at what do we own that we do not think we can use, and how do we liquidate that so we can get the resources and the funds that we desperately need to pay our bills. And so at this time, I would again encourage my colleagues to join with us in passing this bill, and I yield back the remainder of my time.
Yields back. The gentleman from California yields back the balance of his time.